Hello, and welcome to my Chapter 15 lecture on the topic of career development and career and technical education. So overview, we're going to look at the College for All movement, history of career and technical education, early goals of vocational education, contemporary CTE best practice programs, and counselor roles. So what is career and technical education? So I found this article or this posted article, what is career and technical education and why does it matter? So nowadays, employers are wanting to hire people who can, as it says here, hit the ground running, kind of like the old perspective of like, need a resume to get a resume, to start working on your resume. You need to have job experience without having job experience in order to get a job type of deal. And so CTE, or career and technical education, is an opportunity to introduce students to workplace competencies in applied context, and it provides alternatives to the traditional path, if you will, of just going to college, getting a degree, and doing that. So it's got programs for health sciences, engineering, entrepreneurship, computer science, sustainable agriculture, theater arts production, media, culinary arts, and many other fields. And I actually found this graphic here I can look a little closer at. So employers are wanting people that have high skill, right? High wage, high demand, or excuse me, CTE fulfills employers' needs of high skill, high wage, and high demand. 94% of high school students who are part of CTE, plus millions of post-secondary students. CTE integrates academics and rigorous and relevant curriculum and educates students for a range of career options through 16 career clusters and 79 plus pathways. And you see there's a bunch of different career clusters here with hospitality, tourism, human services, so on and so forth. You can keep looking at those as I scroll down. And CTE features high school and post-secondary partnerships, enabling clear pathways to certifications and degrees. And it also prepares students to be college and career ready by providing core academic skills, employability skills, and technical as well as job specific skills. So here's some different clusters that you can help clients consider if they're coming in for career counseling and they're not really sure what they want to do yet. These are some ideas that you can nudge them towards. Zoom back out here. So the College for All movement, something to think about. Did you know that high school students today hear the College for All message, meaning everybody should go to college? Another question to consider, do you personally and professionally believe that all students can succeed in college? Maybe, maybe not. What do you think? These are things to think about as you enter into the counseling world and engage in career counseling with clients, because if you have an attitude or a perspective that not everybody deserves to go or everybody should go, it might impact the counseling that you provide to a client. So do you believe that college is the only reliable or consistent path to financial success? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. And what are the implications of the College for All message for CTE? Right, so I am a believer, I think I've said it before in a previous lecture, I'm a believer in if you need a college degree or you need a certificate to get where you're trying to go, then go get yourself one. Not every job requires additional education or certification after high school, but a number do. So you just want to be reflective on whether or not that's something that's needed for the goals that an individual has for themselves. You also want to think about your reactions to this College for All movement with regards to Common Core standards, Pathways to Prosperity report, and the American Diploma Project, which was talked about previously, that was developed by Bill Gates. Is there a false dichotomy here between academic rigor being required in the CTE? And what about a tracking system? These are things for consideration. Historically, vocational education was set out to meet employers' needs. Smith-Hughes Act in 1917 and the National Defense Education Act in 1958 were things that sought to help with that. to reduce social unrest in the needs of the unemployed and underemployed. The Manpower Act in 1962 and the Vocational Education Act in 1963, as well as the Job Training Partnership Act in 1982, were put into play. And the Carl D. Perkins Vocational and Applied Technology Education Act was put in place in 2006 to help with the development of a more technologically advanced workforce. Now, looking at contemporary CTE, it now has a new name of Career and Technical Education. It's no longer called vocational education, as was just mentioned. There's increased academic rigor at present, and it's been expanded to post-secondary education, so middle school, high school, and at the community college levels. Best practice programs identified in the text are tech prep programs, High Schools That Work, Project Lead the Way, College and Career Transitions Initiative, and Linked Learning. These are just things to know about in the event you have a student that comes in to see you and they've been part of these kinds of programs, or they're wanting to be, or their parents are enrolling them, or they're about to start it, to help you understand the stress that they experience academically, as well as the demands that are put on them that might be contributing to or presenting anxiety disorder or other issues, tics, or whatnot. The career counselor's role in CTE, you're going to advocate for it. You're going to explain curricular requirements, facilitate consideration of different options, assist with post-secondary search and selection processes, as well as assist with career development needs, which might look like taking the Myers-Briggs and any of the other things that you've seen in the PowerPoints or read in your book to this point. Also, with assisting with the search and selection process, CTE has expanded to post-secondary settings, and table 15.6 in your textbook shows opportunities for students that exist beyond high school. You can look at community college opportunities, trade school opportunities, and even apprenticeship programs. There's a number of them that are registered throughout the U.S. in the Department of Labor. And then a word of warning. This is a pretty short slideshow, this chapter. But there are a number of disreputable proprietary trade schools that engage in false advertising, which means that they're falsely advertising how much they are able to successfully place people after finishing their programs. They might lie about how much money people that finish their program make, the success rate. They might even lie about the success rate of people's ability to complete their program. Another thing to look out for is people that spend more money on their marketing than on their instruction. So maybe they spend a lot of money on billboards and commercials and radio, billboard, advertisement, whatever. But the program itself, when you get in there as a student, there's not a lot of materials, not a lot of books, there's not a lot of things. You have to maybe have extra expenditures that you might not have at another program doing the same thing. And they also might require payment in full for the entire program up front, usually through student loans, and they will not offer partial refunds if a student decides to leave the program. So the counselor is an important person in the sense of helping students select their options, or choose from a number of options to be able to make sure that they don't waste their money, lose their money. And you can even consult some different websites, Federal Trade Commission and the U.S. Department of Education, to be able to help your clients with career decision-making. So ultimately, career counseling is not something that you're going to be alone doing. There's a lot of resources that can help the process along. It's not just going to be you and the client sitting there. There's a lot of resources online, a lot of paper type resources that can be used that you've learned to this point, that can be used with students to give them the clarity about a career that they're interested in exploring or even doing. So that's all for my chapter 15 lecture, and we'll see you in the next one.